Welcome to PK Glitz, home of Jammie classes. We want to thank you for joining us today and also want to remind you to visit our website so that you'll really know what's up to date, what's hot, and what's going on. And we want to remind you to be sure and get to the store where you'll find a complete line of all the products that you'll need for the classes. We've got a wonderful line of projects, cards, all kinds of things lined up for you this season. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, here we go. Do you need a quick card for the holidays? Maybe a card that you're going to make in multiples. I mean multiples like 25 or 30 or 50. Well, if you are, this is the one that you want to take a look at. This is so cute and so quick, but doesn't it look professional? I really like the idea of it. I have fallen in love with the embossing folders because they give you so much pizzazz for the time spent. So with this particular one, we're going to be using the Cuttlebug, the little dot embossing folder. Now we're also going to be using our sticky paper. You're going to need 2 or 3 colors of cardstock here. We're going to use our little Just for Christmas acetates. Got a little cardinal on it that you can probably just barely see, but when we make him red, you'll see him real well. We've got 3 colors of glitter that we're going to be using: China Red, White Orchid, and Spring Green. We'll use some little extra tools, like I'm going to use my little craft knife for cutting a little hole, my anti-static brush, my little alligator clip, because I'm going to show you very quickly how to both enamel and glitter a brad. I use my brayer a lot of times when I'm putting my piece down, my sticky paper onto my cardstock, because I most of the time just use a real good quality glue for that. You'll will need your clear drying glue if you're going to do your glitter on acetate for the little bird. And this is another one. That little bird is so quick and fast and easy to do. So if you're doing your glitter on acetate, you can whip a bunch of these out really, really fast. I think that's everything. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is our glitter on acetate, because that will take a minute or two to dry, so we'll get that done and get it out of the way. Basically, you're using any glue that dries absolutely clear. You're just going to add that glue onto your piece and then add your glitters one at a time into that area. Then you go back, a little bit of green down here, a little bit of glue, come in, a little bit of our spring green across there, knock off the excess each time. Once you have that complete, then we'll just move that out of the way and go on to the rest of the card. Now the next step is going to be putting the White Orchid onto our sticky paper. I cut a piece of sticky paper about 2 1/8 by 4 1/4, and I'm just going to worry that edge a little bit, pull it apart, keep the sticky, throw the other one away. Then we'll take our White Orchid. That's what I call dirty white. Sometimes you want something to have kind of a white look to it, but you don't want it to be just pristine white. Well, that's where White Orchid comes in. It's just a gorgeous color. I'm just going to mash on it a little bit, just be sure that all gets in there very nicely, and then use our little anti-static brush to brush away the excess. And boom, just like that, that's done. We're going to put it on our green cardstock. But let's get this excess glitter out of our way, right back into the jar where we'll use it another time. I always say glitter's a little bit like bunnies. It grows in that jar. When you put it back, it's almost like you have more than you took out. Okay. Now, once we have that, we're simply going to take our glue stick and put a little glue along that back side. Just a nice thin layer, just like so. Turn it. And notice I did that with my cap so my fingers don't get sticky. And there we have it. Do it again. Now we'll cover that back up. We'll take our glitzed sticky paper. I may have a little glue on there, so that's why I'm flipping that over. We're going to place it right onto our little layer. And then this is where sometimes your brayer really comes in handy. I just go right over it, and boy, it just makes it flat as a fritter. So now we've got those 2 components ready for our card. Now the next thing, our little cardinal, I hope he's going to be dry by now. Yep, he sure is. So we'll just put him right on there. But there's a couple of things here. We want to be sure that he's on there securely. Now, many times your sticky tape, or maybe if you've got some excess bits of Wonder Film alone, are going to be just fine. But let's be absolutely sure, and let's do it in a fun way, that that piece is going to stay together. I'm going to take a tiny, tiny little brad. You can just barely see it, but I'm hoping it'll be kind of like a little berry. And I'm going to use some of our embossing powder. I just grabbed a China red. And then I'm also going to bring in some of our glitter. And we're actually going to glitter this little brad and put it right there as one of the little berries underneath our cardinal. And that will keep the whole thing together securely. We won't have to worry about that at all. So one of the first things we want to do, of course, is grab our alligator clip. That's going to hold on to that so as I heat it, I don't burn my fingers. And then we're going to come over here and get our heat tool. And we're just going to heat that brad up. Now, no embossing ink. Do not use embossing ink with this. The heat alone, the hot brad alone, is going to be sufficient for what we want to do. So we're just going to heat the end of this up, for about 3 or 4 Mississippis. And that's Mississippi, not Mississippi. Once we get it nice and hot, right down into our powder. Now it's still a little grainy on top. You may or may not be able to see that. So what I'm going to do is come behind it, and that's going to melt that. And as soon as it's just molten, I'm right into my glitter. Just like that. And boom, we've got a glittered brad. It's going to be beautiful on our card. Okay, now let's put our acetate onto our piece. We're going to do a couple of different adhesives on here. First of all, I'm going to use a little bit of my double-sided sticky tape. I'm going to get him on there really nice and tight. Peel away the paper, but leave that sticky part behind. Then we'll come over and we'll center that onto our glitzed sticky paper, but we want to be really sure that that's going to stay on there nice and tight. So that's why we did the brad. So now we're just going to come in, cut a little hole there, take our little brad, doesn't want to let go, there we go, take our little brad and put it right in that little hole. So that's going to give us 2, one behind the bird and one behind the brad, of adhesives. So we'll just splay those little legs out so that he's on there nice and tight. And then I already put some of our double-sided sticky tape on the back of this. So I'll take those little bits off. And we'll get rid of that. Let's do one more back here. There we go. And then we'll center it on our card. That looks about right, don't you think? I believe that it is. And just give it a good mash. And there we go. Again, this card is so quick and so fast and easy. If you're going to make a bunch of cards, this is a good pattern to choose. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining our Jammie class today. Wasn't that fun? Be sure to go to the website and join our email family. As email family members, you'll receive Jammie class updates, coupons, new product information, and much, much more. We look forward to seeing you again next time.